Good morning. This is September the 17th, Sunday 2023, and we are in the third class of BBA first semester, section B, compulsory English. And in the previous two classes, we tried to go through the curriculum. We read the course description and we came to learn about the characteristics of this course, like it has writings from different genres, it has writings on Nepal, it has writings by Nepalese living abroad, and it has writings with various themes including management as well as academic writing. And we said that the course aims to broaden our horizon of language and modes of communication by making us read, write, listen, speak, and watch various types of content. And we also said that the course aims to teach us creative reading as well as critical reading. And we also read about a term like layers of reading and modes of writing, right? And we defined the layers of reading as a reading for literal comprehension, and then a reading for interpretation of the suggested meaning, then a reading with critical insight, and finally reading for assimilation or taking a lesson from what we read. And then we also talked about Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy of objectives of learning. We maybe mentioned 6 or 7. For example, we said that the aim of learning, first aim of learning is you remember what you learn. Second, the aim of learning is you try to understand what you remember. Third, you make sure that you understand what you remember by summarizing it. Fourth, you analyze what you have read by separating its parts and focusing on the interconnectedness and interrelationship among the parts. Next, you synthesize. You see the relationship among parts and you draw a conclusion about the nature of the phenomenon. Or you listen to people's opinion and formulate your opinion. So when you come up with your opinion, you have synthesized other people's opinion and then developed your opinion. Your opinion is based on people's opinion. You have synthesized. Then we said you evaluate ideas. You judge how appropriate what something says is. You judge how relevant their ideas are. You evaluate how useful their ideas are. You evaluate what authors say. You try to see where authors have gone wrong. You try to see if there is a loophole in the argument the authors make. You come up with counter arguments. You challenge what writers say and you judge what writers are saying. You evaluate. And then you, after evaluating, you apply. What you apply your learning to solve a problem in life. See, education should equip you with practical skills to solve the problems that you might encounter in your life. If you cannot solve the problems that you encounter in your life will be difficult for you. That's why education should ideally give you practical skills, not just theoretical knowledge. Because if we cannot use knowledge to do something, such a knowledge is useless. Right? If knowledge cannot be used to solve issues, problems, such knowledge is not useful. So you apply your learning. For example, in this course, you will learn how to read. In future, you might take an IELTS examination or TOEFL examination or PET examination or SAT or GRE. And if you can apply this learning, you learn this semester and next semester and get better marks in that examination, you have applied the knowledge, right? Then finally, you create new knowledge, right? So we began with old knowledge or given knowledge. We began with given knowledge. And finally, we created new knowledge, right? So you begin with an idea in the book, and then you create your own idea about what is in the book. Okay. These are what we mean by layers of reading and Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy of the objectives of educational learning. And then we talked about, maybe we didn't mention, but quickly, let's quickly read the themes in our course. There are essays on intercultural communication. There are essays on education, on mass media, technology and marketing, essays on gender role, on work and life, love and humanity. There will be essays on culture and human condition, essays on environment and business and local roots, then essays on creative industries and innovations, challenges and opportunities, then essays or poems on, then writing and mechanics grammar. These are some of the themes and topics in your course. And modes, if you see the mode from Unit 1, once again, Unit 1 has argumentative writing. Unit 1 will focus on argumentative writing as well as narrative writing. Unit 2 will focus on problem solution writing. Unit 3 will focus on persuasive, narrative, reflective writing. Unit 4 will focus on research writing. Unit 5 will focus on argumentative, narrative, persuasive writing. Unit 6 will focus on narrative, reflective writing. Unit 7 will focus on narrative, descriptive, and writing with humor. Unit 8 will focus on reflective and persuasive writing. Unit 9 will focus on informative writing. Finally, Unit 10 will focus on grammar. These are modes of writing, and in column 3, you have the actual topics. I will not go into them. Now, in class today, I want to start with Unit 1. What is the theme in Unit 1? Okay. Intercultural communication. If you have the book with you, let me see if, or how many of you have got the books with you? 1, 2. So I see that 2 people have managed books. It will be good if you, it will be better if you soon manage books for you. Okay. So when you read, let's talk about how do we read in the college. Okay. So you have the textbook and you have a chapter, right, in which the text is placed. So focus on the title of the chapter. What is the title? Intercultural communication. Now, what is culture? What is culture? Culture is when a group of people seem to have similar behavior, similar belief, similar values, similar dress, food habits, then they form a culture. You can talk about, for example, Newari culture, right? You can talk about Limbu culture, Thakali culture, Rai culture, Madesi culture, Indian culture, Nepalese culture. So what is culture? Group of people having similar behavior, similar values, similar beliefs, similar habits, similar food, dress, etc. What is interculture? What does interculture mean? What might interculture mean? Let's draw a picture. Okay. Interculture might mean one way or two way or multi-way relation. Let's say Japanese culture, Russian culture, European culture, Chinese culture, American culture. So this is interculture. Okay? Interculture. Intercultural means among different cultures. Then what is communication? How do you communicate? What is communication first? What do you mean by communication? Communication is exchange of ideas or information. Right now, I am communicating with you because I am exchanging ideas with you. I'm putting questions to you, getting your answers. So communication is exchange of ideas. How do we communicate? We may communicate verbally or we may communicate non-verbally. When we communicate verbally, we may have spoken communication or we may have written communication, right? When we communicate non-verbally, we may communicate through facial expression, we may communicate through eye contact, we may communicate through body language, we may communicate through gesture and posture, we may communicate through use of space and time, right? Okay, before you start reading the essay, the one in your course, Pay attention to the picture given there because it warms up your ideas. You have better understanding what you can expect in this. You can see there is a fair-skinned lady. I should not use the word fair-skinned. It's racial. Right. That's why these days the name Fair and Lovely has been changed. Now they have named it as Glow and Lovely because there was a debate that if you say fair-skinned, you are making a racial discrimination between color of skin, right? So I'm sorry, I'm aware. I will not use the word fair skin. I'll say, let's say, a European lady and an African lady. So one lady represents European culture, another lady represents African culture, right? And you can see the dresses are different. You can see the accessories they're wearing are different, right? But the two ladies from two different cultures look happy. They look happy. That means they are having a good communication. Now, after spending some time focusing on the picture and getting an idea what to expect in the coming lesson, you should read the commentary below the picture because every chapter opening has a picture and there is a chapter opening remark. There is a remark that opens the chapter. It's very important thing to read because it will give you more idea what to expect in this chapter. Let's read and make notes. Okay, it reads, in this chapter you will explore cultural differences. Okay, let's write down cultural. By doing all these things, I'm teaching you how to read. Look how I'm reading. I'm actually demonstrating how I should read as a student at home. This is my note copy. So I write cultural differences in values, beliefs, behaviors. And then, second it says, the lesson will talk about problems resulting from these. Whenever there are differences of opinion, values, beliefs, behavior, then problems arise, right? For example, recently in Nepal, you had a controversy about beef, right? There were people in Dharan who said they have a right to eat beef. Then other people came up saying, no, you can't kill oxen or cows because we worship them. And you saw there was a huge controversy around the nation, right? So whenever there are cultural differences, problems arise. That's why we need to have cultural tolerance. That's why we need to have a good understanding of each other's cultural values and beliefs. So it will focus on problems, right? Then it says it will consider how people from diverse cultures regard time, how they express themselves verbally and non-verbally, and how people interact successfully. Now, ideally, as I teach you in class, I expect that in your note copy page, this whiteboard is copied as it is there. I expect that you replicate this whiteboard in a paper. In a paper. It's copied there as it is there. Okay. So what we did, we focused on the chapter title. We tried to understand each word clearly. Then we focused on the image given there, and we related the image with the topic of the chapter. Then we focused on the commentary below the picture, and we tried to understand what this chapter is about. Now we have better idea what we are going to read about. If you are a good reader, you go like this. You don't jump directly into the essay, right? You know the context. You know all this is we can say in a sense is the context. This essay occurs in the context of this chapter on intercultural communication. Where did I place the other marker? I had 2 markers. Maybe I left one in that classroom. Okay. Now, there are questions raised in this chapter, this section. I won't spend time in class. If you find time and interest, do as you like. Now what I'll do, the first reading is not in our course. We'll go to the second reading, which is in our course. Right? Now let me talk about the reading. Okay. As you prepare to read, the first thing is you know the title in your note copy. Where do we stand? And then focus on the title first. Understand the title. So it begins with where. So it may be about place. Right? So you now know that this essay is going to be about space. It is going to be about space. Right? Now, first question you ask is, what is the genre of the text I am going to read? And you will easily see that this text is an essay. The very visual appearance tells this is an essay, not a story as you read. Okay. Second, you ask, what is the mode of writing in this essay? If you check your curriculum, the column 1 has 2 information about the course. One, it tells you the theme and it tells you the mode of writing. So, what is the theme of the essay? Genre essay. Mode. It's argumentative writing. It's argumentative writing. Now, once you know that this is an argumentative writing, you have to know, you should know what is an argument. If you know what is an argument, you will be able to read the essay in a better way. If you don't know what is an argument, you will not be able to read the essay in a better way. Okay. Now, because this book is a textbook on academic reading, writing, and critical thinking. It is designed in such a way that it teaches you how to read. For example, there is something called pre-reading. There is something called while reading. There is something called post-reading. What you do before you start reading, what you do while you are reading, and what you do when you finish reading. This is called the process of reading. What do we call? The process of reading. If you know the process of reading and if you follow the process of reading, you will be successful in academic reading. So always read the instruction. For example, it says taking notes while you read. Taking notes while you read. So it says that as you read, you will take notes, right? How do you take notes? You can take notes with a pencil or a pen. Where do you take notes? Either you take notes in your journal or you take notes at the margin of the book itself, right? Now, if you take notes at the margin of the book, we call it annotated reading. But if you have borrowed the book from the library, you must not write in the margin. Otherwise, the library will make you buy a new book for them. That is called dog marking. That is called dog marking, the habit of writing commentaries in library books and dirtying them, right? But if it is a personal book you have, your copy, you can do that. Now, one is you can write comments at the margin. Second, you can underline as you read. You can highlight as you read. You can mark as you read. You can circle as you read. You can do other techniques. Different readers use different techniques of reading, right? For example, it says, as you read the article, underline or highlight the passages describing the non-verbal behavior. Okay. Underline or highlight what? Passages that describe the non-verbal behavior. Okay. In various cultures. Then in the margin next to each marked passage, indicate whether the behavior is commonly seen in your culture. Okay. Mark the behavior and then indicate, it says, indicate if that behavior is also found in your culture. Such reading is known as active reading. What do we call it? Active reading. What do we call it? This is academic reading. When you read a novel for pleasure during a train journey, for example, you might not be doing these things. Just slouch back and read comfortably and you don't note down. You don't worry about remembering what you read. You enjoy. So when you read for pleasure, a novel, for example, you might not annotate, you might not highlight, you might not underline. And when you read for pleasure, when you read a novel during traveling for pleasure, that's not academic reading. That's reading for pleasure. That's reading for pleasure. No doubt, academic reading is also reading with pleasure. I agree. But when you read for pleasure, you may not necessarily underline or highlight or circle or annotate. But when you read academically, you underline, you circle, you highlight, and you write commentaries at the margin. Because when you read academically, either you are scanning or you are skimming. What is scanning? You scan when you look for particular information. Suppose this classroom is a page I am reading. Now, what is scanning? I go line by line and I come to Mr. Patel. Now I sort him out. Oh, he's Mr. Patel. Now I got this particular boy while reading. I sort him out. So this is scanning. Scanning means looking for a particular information in a text. What is skimming? Oh, I have a quick view of the class and I say, okay, normally the whole class is in formal college dress and I see 3 students have not yet got the dresses made. General impression. What did I do? I had a quick look and I made a general impression about the dress in this class. That is called skimming. Skimming is reading for overall impression of the essay. Overall impression. This class is formally dressed. Overall impression. Scanning is reading for particular piece of information. And as every time we read academically, we either scan or we skim. Okay, can I erase it? Now we go to the title. Where do we stand? Now second, note down the author. Who is the author? Lisa Davis. Do you think this author is a male or female? In foreign cultural names, sometimes it is difficult to know the gender, right? But here it's easy. In English names, we know names that end with "a" mostly are female, not always. Lisa is a female name. I can easily guess. Lisa is a female name. Lisa Davis. Now, before you start reading, you will see that every reading text is preceded with information on the text. For example, it says, in the following article. That means this essay is an article. In the following article, Lisa Davis, a freelance writer. The writer is a, what do you call a freelance writer? A freelance writer is one who is not associated with a particular company as a job. Okay, a freelance writer in the United States. So which country does the author belong? USA. States. Focuses on cultural, note down this thing. Now you have important thing. Look, what is active reading? We are scanning. It focuses on what? Cultural differences in the use of personal space. So the theme of this essay is the use of personal space in public conversations. For example, this essay never talks about how couples use space in the bedroom, for example. No, that's not the topic of this essay. This essay does not talk about how people use space over the dining table, for example. This essay does not talk about how people use space in the living room, for example. Because this essay is not talking about use of space in private life. It is talking about use of space in public conversations, right? Okay. Then, second thing it does is, it focuses on the problems that may arise, and it recommends solutions to avoid them. In a sense, you can say this essay is a problem solution essay. In a sense, this essay is a problem and solution essay. Then read ahead. Okay. And on problems, where do we stand was originally published in the magazine. Now, where was this essay published? It's important to know in what kind of container an essay was published. By container, we mean the journal in which an article is originally published. So where was it published? Magazine. And magazines by nature are not academic type of things. There is no magazine prescribed in your BBA course, I guess, right? Magazines are a kind of reading that people do outside the academy. You read magazines at home. You read magazines when you wait for a bus, for example. You read magazines at railway station, for example. You read magazines during holidays, for example. Nari magazine. You read at home, for example, right? And it's important to know the container, because when you see this container, maybe you will see the audience, possible reader for this kind of writing. Then it says, what was the name of the magazine? In Health. So this article was originally published in a magazine that contains writings on the topic of health, in health. When was it published? When was it published? 1990. Look, we have not yet started reading, and we spent almost 45 minutes learning how to read. Why am I doing this in the beginning classes? Because I want to tell you what is reading, how we read. In future classes, I'll be passive. I'll call you and you will read these things. Okay. Now, can I erase it? I will read the essay now slowly, and I will help you understand what are the components of an argument. Okay, let's read first. So reading means reading fast. Swimming means just jump in the water, not listen to somebody lecturing on swimming. Let's read. Call it the dance of the jet set, the diplomat's tango. A man from the Middle East, say, falls into conversation with an American, becomes animated, takes a step forward. The American makes a slight postural adjustment, shifts his feet, edges backward, a little more talk, and the Arab advances, a little more talk, and the American retreats. By the end of the cocktail party, says Middle East expert Peter Bechtold of the State Department's Foreign Service Institute, you have an American in each corner of the room because that is as far as they can back up. Paragraph 1. So we read para 1. Whenever you read a piece of writing, ask a question. What? What does it say on the topic? What does the paragraph say on the topic? Second question. What does the writing do? There is a wonderful book by Charles Beserman. Don't read, not for you. The book's name is What Writing Does and How It Does It. It's a 300-page book, wonderful book, especially for teachers like us who read writing and teach writing. Not for you. But after reading the book, I understand that writing not only says something, it also does something. For example, in this paragraph that we read right now, what does the writing do? The writing, the paragraph, presents a scene, right? It presents a scene. There is a party, and in this party there are diplomats from different countries. For example, there is an American diplomat and there is an Arabian diplomat, and there are others also. And this is a cocktail party. What kind of party? Cocktail party, where you have heavy drink, right? So the paragraph portrays a scene. Now, what may be the purpose of beginning the essay with this scene? Why is Lisa Davis beginning her essay with a scene? Lisa Davis is presenting a situation. She is presenting a situation. Lisa Davis is presenting a context. What do you mean by a situation? What do you mean by a context? A situation or a context means there is a place, a party hall, there are people, Americans, Arabians, Japanese, and there are events happening in that place. Place, people, events. So when I say there is a situation, I mean there is a place, there are people, and something is going on. People are drunk and they're enjoying the party. When you go to a party, you're not serious, you're lighthearted. You dance, you enjoy, you hold people by the arms, you hug people, you might kiss somebody. Nobody bothers, nobody minds. Right? Or they might mind, right? Okay. Now, when you read an argument, the first thing that you should inquire about is, ask this question. Oh, my marker is, okay. Ask this question. What is the context background or situation of this argument. I am teaching you how to read, and I am also teaching you how to read arguments. Okay? So I said the first question you ask is, what is the context of this argument, or what is the background with which the argument opens, or what is the situation with which this argument opens. It's important to understand the situation in this essay because this is a problem solution essay. And mostly you will see a problem solution essay will start by portraying a situation. There is a place, there are people, and they're doing something. And from this situation, somebody will do something that will create a problem. Somebody, somewhere, does something to someone, which creates a problem. Intercultural communication. An American is drinking, let's say, wine, side by side with an Arabian in a party hall. They are all diplomats, and the Arabian does something to the American, and this creates a problem. What does the Arabian do? The Arabian approaches the American. The Arabian approaches the American. There is no problem in approaching people in a party, it's all right, but if you approach someone too close and you reach their private zone, it can cause a problem. It can cause a problem. Right? So, now, why this is happening? In Arabian culture, when you talk to a friend, or even a stranger, you physically come very close, so close you touch each other. So close you can smell each other's breath. So close you might be spitting on each other's faces as you talk. In Arabic culture. Because in Arabic culture, there is no idea of privacy. Arabic people don't know what is privacy. For Arabic people, if you love privacy, they will say you must be depressed. You must be have some psychological problem. You must be lonely guy. You must be cold person. You must be weird fellow who likes privacy. There is no idea of privacy in Arabic culture. Americans, they wear a zone of hoop skirt. What is hoop skirt? If you watch Hollywood movies, particularly classical movies, you will see young girls wearing a skirt. Inside there is umbrella type structure, and the skirt goes around widely. It spreads around the body, and it occupies a larger area as the girls walk in the hall, right? And that keeps boys away from touching their body. Americans have the idea of zone of privacy. For example, they say that about 18 inches space around my body is my private space. And one can come closer to that area only in the bedroom, not outside. In public space, you can't violate that space, 18 inches. You must stay 18 inches away from the body. Now what is happening? Look, I was saying there is a situation. So this Arabian diplomat approaches the American, and the cultural difference is that Arabians stay very close when they talk. Americans maintain a distance. Call the difference? Now the problem, what is the problem? The Arabian does not understand that Americans have a distance. The American does not understand that Arabians love being too close. And when the Arabian approaches too close, now what is the problem? The American feels that the Arabian is trying to bully him. The American feels that the Arabian is trying to bully him. How do you bully? You bully by staring at people in this, right? And when young people like you stare, fighting starts, right? Violence starts, right? You bully people by going too close to them, right? There are many ways of bullying people. Now, so the American feels that the Arabian is bullying. Now, how does the Arabian feel? The Arabian feels that Americans are cold people who have no feeling, no intimacy. They are like iron, wood, stone. They never have feelings and they didn't come. And this feeling that you are cold, that you are bullying, might break your communication. It may break your communication and you may fail in achieving your purpose. It's 9 o'clock. So what I did today, I just started reading the argument, and in this class I first summarized the curriculum, then I talked about how to read, I focused on chapter title, I focused on the picture given, I focused on the commentary below the picture, and then I focused on pre-reading activity, while reading activity, after reading activity, I focused on active reading, interactive reading, highlighting, annotating, underlining, and I defined academic reading. Then I came to genre of the essay. I said it's argumentative essay, and I told you how to read an argumentative essay. I read the first paragraph and I said an argumentative essay always has a context or situation. Someone, somewhere is doing something to someone. Situation. And from that situation, an issue emerges, a controversy emerges, a debate emerges, a problem emerges, and the essay develops. In tomorrow's class, we will read paragraph 2 onwards at home. If you find time, go through the essay, and this time, the first essay, I will take longer time and I'll explain slowly so that you have the idea how to read. From the next essay, I will not read. You will come and do the same thing what I'm doing to you now. Thank you. Any questions you want to ask me? Any questions? Yes?
Sorry, the mail that did not come.
Okay, you didn't get the mail. So I will inquire in the office about the group mail, and I will make sure that you get the soft copy of the lessons on time this afternoon. I will upload the videos to my channel this afternoon, and please, why to feel shy, do subscribe the channel. Okay? It has no business purpose. It has no business purpose. It's not for money making. It's, I feel good when people read. Yesterday, I had uploaded a video, and one of my students read it, watched it, and said, "Sir, after 23, there is no sound." I was so happy somebody is watching and giving me feedback, right? And give me a feedback how useful it is. Guide me how to make more effective materials for you. Students can improve a teacher by giving proper feedback. Thank you. Thank you.